back to my channel. I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday and also an amazing week. Today we're reading Exodus 19 to 20th, and we will also get to read the 10 Commandments. Recap. Yeah. Okay. So, recap on Exodus 19. Exodus 19 talks about how in the third month from the very day the Israelites left the land of Egypt, they came to the Sinai wilderness. They traveled from Rephidim, came to the Sinai wilderness, and camped in the wilderness. The Israelites camped there in front of the mountain, and it mentioned how Moses went up to the mountain to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain. This is what you must say to the house of Jacob and explain to the Israelites. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, if you will carefully listen to me and keep my covenant, you will be my own possession out of all the people. Along the whole earth is mine. Now, if you carefully listen to me and keep my covenant, you will be my own possession out of all the peoples, although the whole earth is mine, and you will be my kingdom of priests and holy nations. Okay, what I wrote about that is that this is a fulfillment of what God said in Exodus 3, verse 12, where it said that the people would serve him at the mountain. And I also had a Bible commentary about the significance of when God said, I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. And eagle's wings are strong and sure, but they also speak of careful protection. It is said that an eagle does not carry her young in her claws like other birds. The young eagles attach themselves to the back of the mother eagle and are protected as they are carried. Any arrow from a hunter must pass through the mother eagle before it could touch the young eagle on her back. This metaphor is developed most extensively in Deuteronomy 32 verse 11, where the loving compassion, protection, strength, and watchfulness of God is compared with the majestic bird's attributes. Okay. It talks about a lot in there. I didn't get to paraphrase it. God also said to Moses that I am going to come to you in a dense cloud so that the people will hear when I speak with you, and you will always I will come in a dense cloud so that the people will hear when I speak with you and will always believe in you. And I wrote that it was God showing proof that Moses do hear from the Lord, because you know how easy it is for us to like question every little thing. And then there was a lot going on in 19 actually. On the third day, when morning came, there was thunder, lightning, a thick cloud on the mountain, and a very loud blast from a ram's horn. And everybody got scared. Wow, wait. Oh yeah, God was speaking. Okay, that's why God was speaking. The Lord directed Moses, go down and warn the people not to break through to see the Lord. Otherwise, many of them will die. Even the priests who come near the Lord must consecrate themselves, or the Lord will break out in anger against them. After he warned them, the Lord replied to him, go down and come back with Aaron, but the priests and the people must not break through. Yeah, okay. Then Moses came down from the mountain to the people and consecrated them, and they washed their clothes. He said to the people, be prepared by the third day. Do not have sexual relations with women on the third day when... Yeah, okay, I read that. Sorry. Okay, yeah. Okay. My notes. Oh, I noticed that, like, you notice how, like, all this commotion where, like, there was smoke, there was thunder. I wrote, will we always hear when God is making an entrance? Is that why there's gonna be trumpets when Jesus is supposed to be coming back? And I also said that it takes a lot of courage for Moses to go up there in the midst of all the thunder, lightning, earthquake, fire, and smoke. Moses knew God's gracious kindness. I also noticed how Israel heard the Israelites heard the voice of God first before hearing the instruction through Moses. Okay, now we could read the 10 Commandments. Then God spoke all these words. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the place of slavery. Do not have other gods beside me. Do not make an idol for yourself, whether in the shape of anything in the heavens above, or on the earth below, or in the waters under the earth. Do not bow and worship to them. Do not serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, bringing the consequences of the father's iniquity on the children, to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing faithful love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commands. Do not misuse the name of the Lord God. Do not misuse the name of the Lord your God, because the Lord will not leave anyone unpunished who misuse his name. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. You are to labor 6 days and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath to the Lord your God. You must not do any work, you, your son, your daughter, your male or female servant, your livestock, or the resident alien who is within your city gates. For the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and everything in them in the 6 days. Then he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and declared it holy. Honor your father and mother, so that you may have long life in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. Do not murder, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not give false testimony against your neighbor, do not covet your neighbor's house, do not covet your neighbor's wife, his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. All the people witnessed the thunder and lightning, the sound of the ram's horn, and the mountain surrounded by smoke. When the people saw it, they trembled and stood at a distance. You speak to us and we will listen, they said to Moses. But don't let God speak to us or we will die. They were so scared. Valid. Moses responded to the people, don't be afraid, for God has come to test you so that you will fear him and will not sin. Oh, and my Bible commentary also said that sometimes it's kind of like people don't need to feel the like, even though people, something about like, even though people feel the thunder or see the chaoticness, that doesn't mean that like it's gonna keep them away from sinning. Like, you don't have to make them fearful for them to keep from sinning, because even the Israelites later on are gonna make themselves an idol of God. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, Moses responded to the people, don't be afraid, for God has come to test you so that you will fear him and not sin. And the people remained standing maybe at the moment when he said don't be afraid, for God has come to test you so that you will fear him and not sin, because God gave them an order to like stay at the bottom and don't try to like go up there to see God's face. Right? And the people remained standing at a distance as Moses approached to the total darkness where God was. Then the Lord said to Moses, this is what you are to say to the Israelites. You have seen that I have spoken to you from heaven. Do not make gods of silver to rival me. Do not make gods of gold for yourself. Make an earthly altar for me and sacrifice on it burnt offerings and fellowship offerings, your flocks and herds. I will come to you and bless you in every place where I cause my name to be remembered. If you make a stone altar for me, do not build it out of cut stones. If you use a chisel on it, you will defile it. Do not go up to my altar on steps, so that your nakedness is not exposed on it. These are the ordinances that you are to set before them. When you when wait oh sorry my notes. I said, how come they fear how come they fear Lord how come they fear God so much and witness his power and still go against clear instructions? And I said, you know what, just like me, not perfect but still loved. The laws about slaves. When you buy a slave, sorry, I'm trying to see. Okay. Okay. So this is the last verse for today. Damn. Only 10 minutes? Okay. When you buy, we do have a devotional today anyway. When you buy a Hebrew slave, he is to serve for 6 years. Then in the seventh, he is to leave as a free man without paying anything. If he arrives alone, he is to leave alone. If he arrives with a wife, his wife is to leave with him. If his master gives him a wife and she bears him sons and daughters, the wife and her children belong. If his master gives him a wife and she bears him sons or daughters, the wife and her children belong to the master, and the man must leave alone. But if the slave declares, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I do not want to leave as a free man, his master is to bring him to the judges and then bring him to the door or doorpost. His master will pierce his ear with an awl, and he will serve his master for life. When a man sells his daughter as a concubine, she is not to leave as the male slaves do. If she is displeasing to her master, who chose her for himself, then he must let her be redeemed. He has no right to sell her to foreigners because he has acted treacherously towards her. Or if he chooses her for his son, he must deal with her according to the customary treatment of daughters. If he takes an additional wife, he must not reduce the food, clothing, or marital rights of the first wife. And if he does not do these 3 things for her, she may leave free of charge without any payment. Laws about personal injury. Whoever strikes a person so that he dies must be put to death. But if he did not intend any harm and yet God allowed it to happen, I will appoint a place for you where he may flee. If a person schemes and willfully acts against his neighbor to murder him, you must take him from my altar. To put him to death. Whoever strikes his father or his mother must be put to death. Whoever kidnaps a person must be put to death. Whether he sells him or the person is found in his possession, whoever curses his father or his mother must be put to death. When men quarrel and one strikes the other with a stone or his fist, and the injured man does not die but is confined to bed, if he can later get up and walk around outside leaning on his staff, then the one who struck him will be exempt from punishment. Nevertheless, he must pay for his lost work time and provide for his complete recovery. When a man strikes his male or female slave with a rod, and the slave dies under his abuse, the owner must be punished. However, if the slave can stand up after a day or 2, the owner should not be punished because he is his owner's property. When men get in a fight and hit a pregnant woman so that her children are born prematurely, but there is no injury, the one who hit her must be fined as the woman's husband demands from him. He must pay accordingly to judicial assessment. If there is an injury, then you must give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, bruise for bruise, wound for wound. I think later on, doesn't Jesus have like a sermon about this? But kind of like, I don't want to, because I'm not fully sure since I haven't gotten to the part of the Bible yet. But doesn't Jesus kind of touch on that too? Kind of like I know you've heard eye for eye, tooth for tooth, but I tell you, you must technically, like, the sermon, like, turn the other cheek. If they tell you to go 1 mile, go 2. Tell. Okay. When a man strikes the eye of his male or female slave and destroys it, he must let the slave go free in compensation for his eye. If he knocks out the tooth of his male or female slave, he must let the slave go free in compensation for his tooth. When an ox gores a man or a woman to death, the ox must be stoned, and its meat may not be eaten, but the ox owner is innocent. However, if the ox was in the habit of goring, and its owner has been warned yet does not restrain it, and it kills a man or a woman, the ox must be stoned, and its owner must also be put to death. If instead a ransom is demanded of him, he can pay a redemption price for his life in the full amount demanded from him. If it gores a son or a daughter, he is to be dealt with according to this same law. If the ox gores a male or female slave, he must give 30 shekel of silver to the slave master, and the ox must be stoned. When a man uncovers a pit or digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or donkey falls into it, the owner of the pit must give compensation. He must pay to its owner, but the dead animal will become his. And when a man ox injures his neighbor ox and it dies, they must sell the live ox and divide its proceeds. They must also divide the dead animal. If, however, it is known that the ox was in the habit of goring, yet its owner has not restrained it, he must compensate fully ox for ox. The dead animal will become his. I said that was wow information. Be free from killing and injuring people. I also said that I quoted when God said, "For I am a jealous God, like a jealous dad to their kids," because God did not. And also about how do not have any other gods do not have any other gods besides me. And then later on, the Israelites end up making a golden calf, right? Because God did not reveal himself to the Israelites in any form or image, they were not to make any other god or silver type of god to set beside God. And notice how all these commandments, right? Do not kill, do not steal, and stuff like that, right? Anybody would agree that those goes against, it's just those are normal things. If you were to ask, are these rules or are these commandments, does it sound bad? Anybody would be like, those sounds fair. Don't kill, don't steal. Don't. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why my brain is trying to over explain right now. But the part that I was trying to focus on is when it said, do not murder, right? Who's delivering this message right now? Moses. What did Moses do before God called him? He killed the man, right? I wrote, Moses knew what it meant to be connected with God on the ground of grace, not what one deserved. Yeah. God forgave him. God called him. God knew what he did way before he even did it. God knew who he was calling, yet he was still called. He wasn't perfect, but he was still called to lead. Okay, that was it, guys. But we have devotional, and then Exodus 22 will be for homework. The devotional is called Good News. 19 minutes, okay. We will do all that the Lord has spoken, which is Exodus 19, verse 8. This was Israel's promise as they prepared to receive the Old Testament law. Then came the smoke and fire, the sound of the trumpet and the thunder. The very apparent presence of the Lord was in their midst. They could see and feel him there. And as the Israelites' declaration of promise still echoed across the peaks and valleys of Mount Sinai, God delivered the law to Moses. But while Moses was still on the mountain with the Lord, Aaron and the people forgot their promise to God. As the law was being given, it was also being broken. God's chosen people were fatally flawed, unfaithful from the moment the law was carved onto the tablets by the very hand of the God who had rescued them. The blood of bulls and goats would be shed for generations in an attempt to atone for their unfaithfulness, only for them to be unfaithful again. But friends, there is good news for you and me. Since the law has only a shadow of the good things to come and not the reality itself of these things, it can never perfect the worshippers by the same sacrifices they continually offer year after year. Otherwise, wouldn't they have stopped being offered, since the worshippers, purified once and for all, would no longer have any consciousness of sins? But in the sacrifices there is a reminder of sins year after year, for it is impossible for the blood of bulls and goats to take away sins. That was said in Hebrews 10 verse 1-4. This is the good news. No more bulls and goats. No more blood must be shed, though it had once been that way due to mankind's sin. Jesus Christ, after offering one sacrifice for sins forever, has perfected forever those who are sanctified. Christ was the perfect sacrifice, but this doesn't make the law an obsolete relic. In Jesus' sermon on Mount with the Pharisee in earshot, Christ made his purpose clear. He said, "I did not come to abolish, but to fulfill. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth pass away, not the smallest letter or one stroke of a letter will pass away from the law until all things are accomplished. The law remains and the debt has been paid. The law reflects both God's perfection and our imperfection, like the Israelites at the base of Mount Sinai. We're an unfaithful people. We will promise to keep the law and we will fail. We are sure we can do better and we cannot. The law gives us order and shows us how we can please God. We cannot keep our promise, but we cannot keep our promise, but he who promised is faithful. Thanks be to God." And guys, I forgot that I had more Bible commentary. I had one more actually. It said that the 10 Commandments were never given with the thought that one might earn heaven by obeying them all perfectly or adequately. The covenant God made with Israel at Mount Sinai was much bigger than the law, though that was its first and perhaps most dramatic aspect. Another aspect of the covenant was sacrifice, which was given because both God and Israel knew that it was impossible for them to keep this law perfectly, and they must depend on the sacrifice of an innocent victim as substitute for the guilty lawbreaker. In this sense, the 10 Commandments were like a mirror that showed Israel their need for sacrifice. And Jesus was our ultimate sacrifice. Yeah, that was it, guys. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to bed now. Okay. Remember that I care for you, but God cares for you so much more. Bye-bye.